Take. Well, happy Blur's Day. What is today? Wednesday? I don't even know. I was on the strip last night at a trade show VIP event because, Vegas is like the ground zero for every major event, conference, trade show. And being in the tech industry, we have hundreds that come through. So a lot of my evenings are filled leveraging the networking opportunities that just fall into our lap. It has something to do with what we're going to talk about today. But do you find the same in Miami because you're also in a very, hub area?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. There's a lot happening in Miami. I don't partake at the moment because we're in pure build mode. But yeah, Miami has changed in the past 5 years a lot. There are a lot of events. There are a lot of startups. There's a lot of technology investments. But from a trade show standpoint, I think Vegas is like 100 times more active.
And you know what? It's not the shows themselves. It's the rooms that I get into with the events. So I closed. Trade shows are like my golf. I can't golf. I'm not a man who golfs. So when I get into these rooms, I closed 2 deals last night. And one of the CEOs goes, you want to join our sales team? I said, I'm not even a salesperson. But it worked. They're fascinated by what we're doing. When you get in a room one-on-one, like anybody watching 6MOA right now, we get 15 minutes to try to explain this. I had these CEOs like just asking questions. How are you all doing this? What do you mean that you can do this? And there was a CMO there, and she goes, Sarah, you don't have a PR marketing agency anymore. I said, I know, like I'm well aware, but how else do I describe this? She goes, you have a solution. You guys are building these solutions, solving all these problems. She goes, that's not what a PR marketing agency does. Yeah. I said, okay, I hear you, but there is no we can't do category creation. We still are at our core PR marketing. It's just that we have all different ways on how we approach it.
Yep. And that's been one of the challenges. Mm-hmm. That's been one of the challenges. We've been working on promoting this, selling this for the last 8, 9 months, and it's really gotten traction in the past 90 days because of that, because we were too early. And also, you and I, we've been talking about the services of software for a year now, Sarah. And it's the whole concept is solidifying, right? Like nobody was talking about this really, and talk to us about, you see us, you talk to other agencies, you have friends, you have friends who are running PR agencies. Like, how, if you had to look at the differentiators that we've been able to achieve because we're working on all of this technology and the framework, how do you see other agencies doing in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you think is going to happen?
I think there's some brutal facts here. The industry of journalism has been decimated, at least in the US, with layoffs. So there's a finite number of people who can tell stories and tell really good stories. And I am a journalism advocate. I hate that this is happening. Anybody who's all in right now on selling hours related to generating earned media is at high risk. This isn't sensationalized or clickbait or meant to scare people, because there are solutions, there are ways to fix for this. But if that is your whole business model in any consulting industry, that's at high risk. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, not at all. You have to have added value. You cannot continue to build $200, $300, $500 an hour. You have to have some sort of added value where you speed up the results process or the execution process. And more people will not pay you for your expertise and what you know. They will pay you for the outcome.
And that's it, right? If you're doing any sort of consulting, it is on that outcome. And this is where I really wanted to deep dive today, because when we said we're blowing up this model, we're going to be bullish, we're going to take a big risk on something we think we see coming 18 months ago, we started building. You had the foresight hiring more AI developers. A PR and marketing agency hiring AI developers. At some point we said, not only are we building systems and solutions for potential clients, but I think it's still coming and we're not there yet, that agencies will be an ICP, a potential customer for us, because if they don't have the funding, the bandwidth, and the dollars to invest and build like we have, they'll be able to access these products so that they can thrive. They can still execute in whatever way they need to, but to have what we need. And this is the intellectual property. This is where we have this plus a tech stack, multiple tech stacks. We haven't invented or built one product. We've built, how many would you say right now?
We have 5 different ones that are really, really valuable right now. 5 different products in different areas. And the beautiful part is we're not building these as SaaS products to sell to others. We're building it to make ourselves more efficient and scalable. So it's not like I'm trying to build something and raise $10 million with $100 million valuation and call it a day. No, we're building for 5 to 10 years later. We're not even building for 12 months later.
No, but it helps that we're a profitable business. But on top of this, and I'm not saying this is where we're going, but as an agency right now, I see the big holding companies, the big ones, they're merging, acquiring, they're sucking up some of these smaller agencies. If someone came to us and wanted to acquire us, it isn't what traditional agencies would be, where you're just getting the people and the portfolio. The valuation of our tech stack right now far surpasses anything else that we have. And that is, yes.
The know-how, yeah. So what we've done, so if you go by any agency, right, you get a bunch of SOPs and you get a bunch of disconnected groups of, wisdom and expertise, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're doing is we're actually putting all of this into a system, an AI-powered system, where we're transferring all of our knowledge and expertise into tools and into also, let's call it old-fashioned term, databases, AI-driven databases. So it's transferable. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, all these, I was speaking with a friend of mine. They have a $500 million fund, and they were tasked to go buy service-based businesses.
Yeah.
And the only reason that they're going after agencies is because of the know-how and because of the expertise. Like if you think about what we know from a PR, from a e-commerce standpoint, so what we're doing is we're translating that into knowledge, AI-powered knowledge that makes that scalable and transferable. And that's going to increase my valuation, because as an agency, somebody comes, I'm maybe like, if I'm lucky, 10x EBITDA, it doesn't make sense to sell agencies right now.
No.
It makes sense to run them and collect the profits. But if you have the tech stack, and if you are a service as a software business, which means the software lays under the service that you offer, your valuation could be 20, 30, 40x, just like a software company. And the opposite is happening for SaaS companies. SaaS companies could exit as high as 100x EBITDA. Now their EBITDA is dropping because it's so easy to duplicate a system. We literally, there's a software called Harvest. I think it's Get Harvest. We were time tracking. They increased their prices and we were paying them $1,500 a month. In 30 days, no, in 3 weeks, my engineers rebuilt it and we stopped paying them. And we have our own internal tool that's just a time tracking tool, exactly like Harvest, if not any better.
But this is what we're doing. So when I talk about how the modern day tech stack works for PR, this doesn't even touch on our infrastructure builds that we are doing, changing everything from how we train our salespeople and how they activate on calls, which is like each of these things as a standalone SaaS or product is extremely valuable. The fact it is integrated into our flow from every step of the process, like at some point we are an absolute full service solution, but our clients only get to experience this. So last night, this is what I signed a deal on, Drawn. And let me look up the exact terms. The CEO said, if you can help me win the term authorization solutions, he's like, I'll sign. He goes, that's all I care about. He goes, I'm firing my PR firm because none of that's going to help me own that. And LLMs and this competitor, he showed me, this competitor is owning that. What can you do? And he got it. He understood. And he was like, cool, let's go. And that is how we do it. Now, all of the tech, everything to win that is on the back end. We have to do our deep dive analysis. I have to understand all of the different variations of how his potential customers might be phrasing that, their personas, etc. And then we have the strategy, we have execution. Clients don't need to know how complex that is, but the value to do that and create that is millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of IP relationships and partnerships.
Yeah. And that's precisely the point, right? As an agency, the value that you had was the relationships, the clients, the trust, the workflows, the SOWs that you have, right? I'm sorry, the scopes that you have done before, the processes that you've learned, in decades. So now that's going to that almost has no value now. What has value, if you can transfer it, your wisdom has value, but it has to be systematized. If you don't do that, it's over. So my biggest objective is to stop being an owner-operator and to start being an owner. And we have to think about leverage, right? For decades, for centuries, we had different leverages. First leverage was having employees and having other people do the work. Yeah. Then the leverage was, industrial capabilities, having to, you can mass produce, blah, 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 factories. Then it was media. Then it was internet. Then it was technology. Now, what's the biggest leverage now, Sarah? AI.
Now it's your AI.
AI is the biggest leverage. So now what I can do, and this is why you have these companies that are doing literally billions of dollars with like 20 employees. So they're leveraging technology, AI. They've built on the leverage on top of another. So the top metric that I have right now that I'm focusing on, you know what it is? Revenue and profitability per employee.
I love, and that's output. If you need a fast way to talk about this is output, how we show value. And on top of that, which I didn't even plan on getting into today, is how we're upskilling even the most junior people to have output. At some point, and I'm challenging even my executive assistant, Duran, I am very honest and open to say, these 3 things that you're doing, will soon be taken by AI. If you plan to have a career and a job in a year, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. I said, everyone will require it at some point. And yes, it's scary, but you actually are at one of the top companies in the world that's thinking like this. Which is huge. One thing I wanted to share, and I want to talk through this with you. When we talk about, building our own IP and our tech stack, in my life, when I started in PR, I never thought this is one of the things I'd be doing with my day would be to track how a single piece of content impacts what someone may see in an LLM. And this is the back end of something that we built. I want to pull up the report so you can see the pretty version. But talk to me about truly what you think this represents.
So we've never been able to, I mean, the biggest challenge with AI models, and everybody knows this, I have 10 sales calls every day, Sarah. You know this has been crazy for the past few weeks. The number one thing that people say is, I ask one first question. I say, what has happened in the past 90 days to 6 months that had you looking at AI visibility more seriously? And they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I use ChatGPT. I haven't Googled anything in 12 months. Like, I know where this is going. And these are small business owners that we're talking to, some of them. Like, $1 million, $3 million revenue, nothing insane. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this is what's happening. So the first time since this technology came out like 3 years ago with ChatGPT, we can actually have some sort of visibility into how AI is responding to things. This is not AI visibility anymore. But what we can do is we can take a piece of content anywhere and we can tell you how visible it is on AI, why, who are you above, who are you under, and what topic clusters, and what exact prompts you're popping up for. So you do a LinkedIn article, you post something on LinkedIn, whatever it is you do, like, we can know exactly which AI models is showing up. Let's look at Claude, right? Like we track the sentiment. Is it positive? Is it negative? Why Zen Media is showing up for this. And then if you scroll down on the right all the way to the bottom, Sarah, all the way, this is what's important. Sources. Yes. So I know what data AI is using as the source for linking and mentioning these brands.
Like when our content team starts writing now, they're doing a totally different even research habit. And I would consider this intellectual property, right? They're pulling from these reports as a baseline. I make them think, what am I competing against? Almost like an SEO person. And then I make them go have chats with Google AI Overview about a particular topic to get smarter in what it would, what a potential customer would think about, what they want to know more about. They really do deep dive analysis before they're writing content that could outrank something that exists there. Like this is an insane opportunity we have.
And then, may I share my screen?
Please.
Because this is pretty crazy. So we built this system. It's gated. Nobody gets access to it. But what we want to do is actually, this is launching next week, and I want to share this.
This is also what I love now. We don't even do traditional launches. If you're watching 6MOA, we'll just totally ruin our own embargo and exclusive and share, and I love it.
So we got this thing. It's DeepSight, right? And DeepSight, we will launch this for free to everybody. You know how you need to go to different tools, like what was that tool? The main competitor we have, the main guys for AI visibility, Sarah?
Oh, Profound.
Profound. Try Profound, right? Profound charges $100 for 100. So what we said is, you know what? It's kind of like bring your own beer, bring your own keys. We'll give you the UI to just track everything. And look at this. Here you can run industry reports, reputation reports, persona reports, presentations, and the report that you're going to run and the report that you're going to see is going to be something like this. It's going to tell you where you're showing up, which competitors are showing up, how often are they showing up, what type of content you need to do, how can you create benchmarks across your competitors, and we're going to launch this for free. You're going to be able to just add your OpenAI key, your Claude key, your Grok key, your Gemini key. Just use your own money. Don't pay me for profits. It's at cost. And then run as many reports for as many companies as you want. I mean, agencies should gobble this up, in my opinion, because it's a sales opportunity. Look, you just do a new scan. Are you running a brand, industry, person analysis, reputation analysis? Right now, brand is unlocked. And you put the project name, how many prompts you have. It runs in any language in the world. It's 100% for free. We're launching it next week. We want to democratize AI visibility.
Yeah, because it's phase one. If you're like, how can you do this? Why can you do this? I mean, we are lucky. We're in a spot where we can do this because we have the people, the technology, etc. But we know that this is only phase one. And so if you trust us with this, when you're ready to actually strategize, execute, and impact at a larger scale across all parts of the funnel, we are that partner.
Yeah, and in the settings, you can give access, you can create API keys. Look, all these models, just paste your API key. The tool is free. You just take your API key and you run it. For now, we are limiting it to 100 prompts. You can run it weekly, daily, monthly, whatever you want. The only reason we're limiting it because a lot of people don't know how this works. We don't want them to enter their keys and run 10,000 prompts and get a bill for $5,000. This is expensive. Yeah. So we're like, let's teach people how to do it. And as people use this tool, we're gonna unlock the 100 prompts. You can run 500, 1,000. And Sarah, the more prompts you run, the more questions you ask, the more insight that you get. This is gonna have segmentation. I mean, this is just insane. There's nothing like this. And the only reason we're doing it is because, again, we have an objective, you and I. We want to be the best AI perception company in the world.
And this is a start, right? You don't make something where people can experience it and start somewhere. It's a big risk because, ironically, we're more than 6 months ahead of the market right now. And we've been operating that way. So if you're seeing this, you're like, I don't get a single word of what they just said or what they're talking about. That's the signal when you're too far ahead. And I feel like I'm almost annoyed at some of the things we've been talking about. That's why Jeroen's saying AI perception. We've been saying AI visibility for so long that it might be a new term for you. I'm burnt out on it because I was like, that's old. That's what it all started as. We're all progressing.
Yeah, AI visibility means nothing at this point. It means nothing. It's too high level. Yeah, you show up for a prompt, what to do. It doesn't mean nothing. What we have is a living, breathing, learning system that learns from every single piece of content, what AI values, what does it not value. We are essentially reverse engineering. Kind of like what SEO did 15 years ago on how to rank. You would look at 10 competitors and see how they rank, but it's so much deeper than that because you have to analyze every single crust of authority and you have to be able to make determinations on that authority. There's no way we would be able to do this without the technology.
No, and just to break this down for you all, AI visibility to me is this. At a very basic level, it's like, oh, did I show up as an answer or not? But what if that answer is 3 years old and it's incorrect? What if it's not the right information? What if it's a hallucination? Like an answer doesn't really matter. Perception is the evolution of what PR does. Are we making sure it's the correct information? Is it negative or positive in sentiment? Can we change what the person experiences based on their persona, what type of LLM they're using? Like there's so much more that goes into perception, which is the evolution of SEO, GEO, PR all coming together.
Yeah. If I show up for AI visibility, if somebody types AI visibility agency and I show up, that's not really what I do. So if I cannot give AI that concept, if I cannot train AI, Zen Media, yes, they have a tool for AI visibility, but that's not really what Zen Media does. I need AI to say this on my behalf. Otherwise, I don't have perception. I just have visibility. Visibility does not get you the business. Visibility does not convert. Perception converts.
That is your soundbite today, and you're going to write about that, talk about that, and do a whole video. That's your challenge.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it, but like you said, Sarah, we are very, very early in this, and that's one of the. I mean, it's a pro and a con simultaneously. It's kind of like we have to explain how this works a lot, but it's gonna take time. But also from a positive standpoint, we are ahead and we keep rebuilding. I mean, I have 2 objectives right now for the next 90 days. Build aggressively and then sell aggressively, and I'm not looking at anything else.
Yeah. And the great news is, as the counterpart, I make sure quality ensues. We've got the process, we've got the system, we've got great team. In case those of you who are listening in the comm space, that is the other layer that does this, and that is why our brains balance out. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We have a new idea and concept for every show. It usually starts from an early morning chat, but if there's something you want to hear about, let us know. We're going to go forth and build and sell and make solutions.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.